All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking Tesla customer service. We're talking about two delivery experiences with the Tesla Model S Plaid and the Model X Plaid. So we're going to talk about what the experience has been like getting the Model S Plaid, how the customer service has been, and kind of what that experience was like. Because I think you guys will find this interesting because we're talking about. So you had three Teslas before.
Yes.
And you bought all three of them new from Tesla. The first one was back in 2015, and that was a good experience. Like, that was back before Tesla was like $1 trillion company, and they cared about customer service. I remember seeing pictures of that car. They had like a big red bow on it for you, like that first one you bought.
Yes.
And they rolled out the red carpet. The customer service was great, and that was a really good experience. And so when the Model S Plaid came out, you were like, hey, I want it, and it's going to be a great experience like the first one I had. So let's talk about the experience you had when you went to pick up this Tesla Model S Plaid. Now this was the first one in the state delivered, and what was interesting is you went to go pick it up, and tell us about the experience that you had.
Well, it finally came in. I was the first. This is the first Model S that was in this state, and they gave me a call and said, "Hey, your Tesla's in. Come over and pick it up." I said, they gave me a day, so I picked a day, like a Tuesday. They said, come over and we'll have it ready for you. It's the first one in this state. We're going to make a big deal about it. I took time off work, which quite important, work that I do. I'm a physician, so I canceled my entire day, half day, to go over to the dealership to get this Tesla. And got my wife. We both went over there, hoping to get the same experience we had with our Model S 2015. Walk in the showroom, service manager comes out and said, "You're not picking your car up today." And I go, "Why?" He said, "Well, there's a rock chip in the window. We have to replace the window." I go, "Why didn't you know?" And they knew this rock chip was there. Obviously, the car had been sitting at the dealership at least 48 hours. Yeah. So I was very perturbed. I took the half a day off. My wife took her half a day off to get this car, hoping to have a nice celebration, balloons and whistles, and like we got on the first Model S. And we got there, the windshields broke. They had to replace the window. So the car didn't arrive for 3 more days because it took 3 days to put a new windshield in.
Yeah, so they didn't even have the option to fix it right away. It was like, hey, we got to get a new windshield delivered from California to even get shipped in.
Right. So it was a kind of a horrible experience. The problem is you know, they must have known it was. They could have just called and said, "Hey, we're putting this off because of the windshield," because the car wasn't even there. I couldn't even find the car. I said, "Can I see the car?" They go, "No, it's not even here." I go, "You knew I was coming."
Yeah.
And you couldn't have called me and said the car's not here.
Right.
And so that customer service was quite disappointing.
And we've talked about this. It seems like because Tesla does not have a commission salesperson, you know, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe there's not a middleman, you know, making an additional profit on the car. But the fact that there's no commission salesperson to make sure that you have a good experience, sometimes you don't have that good experience. And the fact that there wasn't someone that was assigned to your car that's assigned to you to make sure you had a good experience. You know, you're paying $150,000 for a car, and you get there and you can't even see the car, a broken windshield, and really just kind of sours the experience, and you know, something that you would not get with another luxury car brand.
Yeah, even on ordering this car, I bet I talked to 5 people from Tesla. Every one of them probably lasted about 6 weeks, then it changed. I never got the same person twice on the internet telling me about the upgrades of the car when I would inquire about them. And even the person that said the car was in was a different person. At least 4 to 6 different people you have to speak to online, never in person. Then when you get there, you get a service manager who, you know, I said, "Well, what are you going to do since I took, you know, I canceled my office, lost a lot of money that afternoon as a physician to come over and get this car, and this is what you give me." You know, they just put their hands in the air and said, you know, "Well, maybe we'll throw some mats in." Well, there's no really new mats you can put in a brand new Model S 2021 Plaid. They don't have them. So he offered me something they didn't even have, and I still haven't seen them. So when they offered me the new mats, there was no new mats, but then he said some new ones were coming, and I haven't seen them, and I've had this car about 8 months.
Yeah, yeah. So, what's interesting is we cut Tesla some slack, though. I mean, we do know that they're a new company. This is a new model. This is a new model year for the Model S. So I think everyone kind of cuts them some slack, and we want them to succeed. But the fact that now they're so big, the demand is so high that if you didn't want this car, if you'd have said, hey, I don't want it, there's 80 other people in line that would have gladly bought this car. So the fact that they don't have to have good customer service. I mean, their cars are good enough that it doesn't really negate their customer service, but it does leave kind of a soured experience that when you're not getting good customer service, but their product is very good, eventually something's going to give, and there's going to be a point where when there's competition, they're going to have to step up their game when it comes to their customer service.
That's true. Again, it's going to be several years before competition comes. I love the cars. The service is horrible, and I've had other experiences which I can talk to you about later. And in getting this car, obviously there's a couple of flaw issues going on in the car, and we had to have that replaced. Luckily, you can get some mobile service to come out. But for example, one time I had a nail in the tire, which no company in town will actually change a Tesla tire due to the foam that's in these tires. So I had to have a tow truck come tow this car over to the dealership, and what they did is just they replaced the tire. They never even tried to fix it, and they called me and said, hey, we have to replace the tire, so now you're charged $500 for a new tire. You have no options. There's no tire company in town that will actually service a tire on a Tesla car, especially this car. You have to take it to the dealer, and when you do, a nail inside the tire, not the sidewall, was replaced by a brand new tire I had to pay for.
Yeah. Well, didn't they tell you also that there was they didn't even tell you they're replacing the tire? You just get there and it's like, hey, it's $500.
Right.
$500.
I said, can you fix the tire? And they go, yeah, we'll take care of it. They said your car's ready. We had to replace the tire. I go, I thought it was a nail in the tire. Can't you plug it? And they go, no, we had to replace it. So I had no choice in the matter. You had to get the tire. You got to drive the car away.
Yeah, yeah. So just another example. So with all that being said, Tesla customer service it seems like since they've kind of blown up, since 2021 when the demand is so high now, the customer service is slowly kind of dwindling, especially when it comes to delivering a car. It's just not an experience. I mean, it's it's more exciting to get an Amazon package at your doorstep than it is to pick up your car at Tesla because they've turned it into a hassle.
Yes.
And it'd almost be better if they would just bring it to your house when it's 100% ready. But we're going to get into the other one. So you'd think after an experience like this, now not a life-changing event, but as far as just making the experience better, just treating the customer better, making sure that the car's ready when you go pick it up. That seems pretty basic for them to do, and the fact that they're not doing that is kind of it's bad on their part. So you'd think hey, all right, I'm not going to buy another Tesla. But you had another one on order.
Yeah. And
we're going to talk about this one. So we're going to go into the other garage. We're going to talk about the Tesla Model X Plaid, which you just got. And you'd think okay, this was a one-off deal, right? This was a one-off experience. They're going to make it up for you on the next one.
You'd think so.
You'd think so. All right, let's go talk about the Tesla Model X Plaid. Okay, so here, this is the brand new Tesla Model X Plaid 2022. You just got it less than a couple months ago.
It was 6 weeks. I've literally only had it about 1 week, but it's been in the dealership for a month.
Yeah. So let's talk about the same why don't you explain the same experience that you had with this one? So they tell you it's ready, and when they give you the call, they kind of told you last minute, right? You've had this order in for 6-8 months, and they text you, or you get the message on the app and say, hey, it's ready to go right away, and it's really unexpectedly. They're just like, hey, out of the blue, it's ready to go, and you had to juggle all your funds, get it all ready, pay for it, and you get down there and let's talk about this one.
Yeah, this online service advisor emailed me, actually called me and said, your car will be here in the next month, and so it'll be ready. So I paid cash for both of my Model X and Model S Plaids, and I was planning on this as well. And I said, good, okay, fine. 24 hours later, I get a phone call saying your Plaid X is in and ready for pickup. And I go, when can I pick it up? Come over the next day. So we went over to the dealership to pick up this Model X, and on the way, I was talking to my wife on the way over. We did the same thing, canceled my afternoon, my physician practice, heading over to Tesla to get this car, all excited. And both my wife and I were really like this. I hope this is a better experience than my Model S. We got a phone call less than a minute away from the Tesla dealership to pick this car up, and they said, "Well, it might not be ready. We got to do a couple of things to it. We got to blow some dust out of the console that's there." And I just kind of went ballistic on the phone. And I showed up at the dealership with this car. We went through, probably spent an hour and a half to 2 hours with this car, finding out there was dust and it wasn't really ready to be delivered.
Was it like between? It was like in the gauge cluster.
Yeah, where
right?
the gauge, where you see the in front of you, there was actually dust, and I don't know how that could ever happen. It's a closed system, but there was dust particles on the inner mirror, inner plastic.
Like in between the screens, right?
Yeah, screens, so you could just see it. It was, and they couldn't blow it out. They said, we have to take it to the main service center to have a higher pressure hose to blow it out. I said, I'm taking the car and I'm leaving and going home with it. And so that was it.
So you take it and you get home with it, and so you drive it for just a day. You leave for a week and you come back, and was it you pulled into like a parking lot and like
I pulled into my practice, my office practice, and one of my physician partners looked at the car because he's a Tesla fan himself, has several cars. He said, your parking brake is out on the right. And I looked at it and I go, I guess it is. It's
like
not working.
This light here was not working?
The right back parking light was not working. So I put on the roadside service and the mobile service to come out. I thought it would be a simple fix to fix this parking light. And the mobile service guy comes out. I'm not home, my wife is. He takes a look at the car, he tries to fix it. He just tells my wife, you're going to have to take this car into the main service, and leaves, and doesn't give me any information on my app on what he did, what was wrong with it. He just said, I can't fix it, take it to the service. So I was just left in the dark. Now I got a car that needs to go to the main company. I've had this car for probably 7 days total when this happened. So I took the car over to the service center, and they said, yeah, we'll replace the light. No offer to, I've had 2 Plaids I bought from them, and when I go over for service, this is the first, I had to argue to get a loaner. I've always had to either get their Uber credits or take a cab back to my office. So that was a horrible service experience. But anyway, they took the car in to fix the back parking light, and about 36 hours later told me it's ready to go. So my wife and I, again, the service center is about 30 miles from my house, so it's not like a around the block trip.
Yeah.
We went over there to pick up this car on the service light, on the back parking brake light, and it was evening time, so it was dusk. There was very little people in the shop because they were leaving at 6 o'clock. I get in and none of my lights work in the front, so I have no lights to drive, and it's nighttime. So I hurried and got out and went into the dealer and said, hey, I have no lights. A couple of people came out, looked at it, checked it out. A mechanic came out, checked it out, and said, we got to keep it. They pulled the car in. I had to leave. I left it with them. It was in the shop 28 days to fix a parking brake or a light thing that they had to order a module for, and it was a nightmare. I had no service updates other than the parts will be in as soon as we can get them, we'll fix your car. And nobody could ever tell me what was wrong with this car, how come the lights are not working, why I can't pick it up. And then they phoned me back 2 weeks into it saying, we got to replace the dash because the technician stuck a pin through my dash poked a hole.
Leather part of the dash?
Leather part of the dash, poked a hole in it. Now I have to replace the entire dash because the technician destroyed my dash.
Wow. So owning this for 6 weeks, 28 days was in the shop.
Yes.
Basically.
And
you got, who knows how long it's going to be in the shop for the dash thing, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
And I got to take that over there. They can't do it mobile. It was a complete nightmare.
Yeah. Like when that happens, it's like Tesla just no updates. There's no incentive for them to like keep you happy or keep you updated, let you know what's going on. And then I think the real thing is like you know, you take this thing, it's brand new, it was completely detailed, and I'm looking at it now. You just got it back, and they didn't have the courtesy to like wash it. It's like it's filthy. And
I asked him. Interestingly, I asked him. I go, listen, I had that fully charged when you got it, and I had it detailed because I have a detail guy come in my house and my office and detail my cars. So it was clean. I got over there, had 100 miles on the charge, and it was filthy. And I wasn't going to leave it with them because I asked them, how come this wasn't detailed? They said, we don't have a detail shop at the main center. So they couldn't even detail the car.
At their service center, they can't detail. They can't even clean it there.
They gave me a loaner that smelled like a gym locker room inside, and the outside I actually had to have my detail guy. I had to have a detail man come out and detail the loaner they gave me because it stunk like hell in the car inside, and it looked like it'd been in a mud bath.
Couldn't even see out the windows.
I couldn't see out the windows. And it stunk.
Oh,
I couldn't. I had to roll the windows down.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So you've got it back now. I mean, it just seems like, guys, kind of the point of this is that when you buy Tesla, you have to deal with this kind of stuff. You have to deal with these kind of issues because, you know, in their rush to deliver these cars, the quality control at the factory, I don't think is really there. They almost just hope like, hey, let's just throw the car together, get it out, deliver as fast as we can. If there's issues, we'll deal with it down the road. The problem is they keep building more and more cars. There's more and more cars on the road every single month, and they're all having these kinds of issues. And taking them into the service center, you know, it's just a long wait to get an appointment, long wait to get it fixed, and then it turns into a kind of a hassle.
Yeah, it's been a night. It's just the cars themselves are phenomenal cars, and I love the cars, or I wouldn't buy them. So you ask, why would you keep buying them if you're having trouble? The service actually is the most horrible thing, and I've complained. If you saw the photograph, if you see the video of the Model S in there, you'll see that I have Tesla panels because I got a Tesla roof. And that's another story for you one day to talk about the service on that roof, which was a nightmare as well.
The Tesla, like the power walls and the solar system and everything. So yeah, that might be another interesting story to tell. But really, guys, the point of this, guys, is you know, just I think it's interesting. You know, Tesla is they make fantastic cars. They really are the future of cars. But when it comes to the dealership and service experience, you know, what we're used to with other car brands, especially luxury car brands, you know, like when you're buying cars this expensive, you know, if you were to buy a Porsche or, you know, Land Rover or Mercedes, this expensive a car, I mean, the experience is so much better with buying other cars. So Tesla does have some improving to do when it comes to taking care of their customer, taking care of their cars, because there will be a time when there's going to be other viable options, and they're going to have to you know, win customers over with their customer service, not just their cars.
Yeah, totally agree. The customer service needs overhauling, and I've owned Land Rovers, I own Porsches, and they treat you like a king when you go in there to drop your car off. A Tesla, they're a long way from taking care of their customers. Totally disappointing, and it kind of makes, when we got this car, my wife told the service representative who handled this car is, you guys make buying a car horrible. You make the experience of owning a new car, instead of being exciting, it was a horrible experience for both of us. Because this car was hers, and it made a horrible experience on what we went through on customer service. I don't expect it to get better because of just the supply and demand.
Yeah, and there's no incentive to. If you don't want it, there's thousands of people in line that are willing to buy it right behind you. So it's, you know, they can keep treating people like this, and we'll still keep buying their cars because it's you know, they are fantastic cars. We just gotta hope that they don't need service. You know, because when you have to, and I've experienced that. I own a Model S and a Model X as well, and when it needs service, I always just cringe because it's always just an experience, and it's always who knows what kind of experience you're going to get, and usually it's you know a bad experience. But
totally agree.
Anyways, well guys, that's our video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more Tesla updates. Thanks.